Hi, my name's Sam Adcock. I'm a GP in Leicester, and I also work at the university as one of the clinical lecturers and one of the admission tutors. And I just wanted to spend a bit of time talking to you a little bit about my career as a GP, why I chose GP, how I got there, and why I think it's a great career. So how did I become a GP? So I came to Leicester from Liverpool. I went to a state school in Liverpool that was not a high achieving state school. So very few people went on to university, and I was one of the few. I think there was only two in my year that got A's at A level, but actually I think we were the first two for a few years in our school. So it was not a high achieving school, and not one where people tended to go on to do medicine. And in terms of my background, my parents didn't go to university, and we as kids were the first ones in our families to go. And in sixth form, I realised that I was okay at passing exams. It wasn't too bad. I could study. I was able to self-direct. And I was thinking about what careers I wanted and what I wanted from a career. And I wanted one that was challenging. I didn't want to be bored. I wanted one that was interesting. I wanted one that worked with people, because I like people. I like chatting to them. I'm nosy. I want to know what's going on. I wanted one that I felt satisfied, that actually I would go home feeling like I'd done a good day's work, and one which also had security and all the things that go with it. And so initially I was thinking about doing science, maybe doing some research, maybe being a bit more geeky like that. But actually one of my teachers suggested that medicine might be a sensible career for me. It was a bit more people orientated. And so I looked into medicine and realised actually, yeah, it probably is what I wanted to do. It wasn't so easy to get work experience because I didn't know any medics, I didn't know any doctors, but I managed to wangle a little bit of work experience in my local GP surgery, and again enjoyed it. So I applied to med school. There was no help. No one had really gone to medical school from my school. The teachers didn't really know what the application process was, what the interviews were. So I did a lot of reading and prepared that myself. Luckily, I managed to get into Leicester. It was the only place I got an offer for, but you only need one offer. You only need one place. And I came to Leicester Medical School, and I really enjoyed it. It felt the people there were normal. It attracted other students that I felt were a bit like me. It wasn't sort of just full of privately educated, well-to-do people. It was a good mix of background, ethnicity, religion, all sorts of things, and I really enjoyed it. I've still got loads of friends from Leicester, and it's been a really good time. When I came to med school, and through med school, I always thought I was going to be a paediatrician. So I thought I really like kids. They're honest, they're fun, and I thought that would be the career for me. But then as a junior doctor, I did some jobs in paediatrics, and I realised that actually it's tricky, it's emotional, and parents of kids are the easiest people to deal with all the time. And I realised it probably wasn't my cup of tea. But I also realised when I graduated that I quite valued seeing people again in hospital. Some of the specialties, and you can see people once you do a great job, but you never see them again. And I like continuity. I like getting to know people. I like building up that trust, and I like variety. If I'm honest with you, I get bored easily, and I didn't want to just deal with skin or bones or tummy problems. I like the variety of dealing with all sorts of different problems. And if I'm honest with you as well, I realised that I didn't want to work all the time. I wanted a good work-life balance. I wanted to have a career that was good, that was exciting, that was challenging, that was rewarding. But actually, I also wanted to have a good life. I wanted to have time to have kids, to have a good marriage, to travel, do all the things that I wanted to do. And I did a foundation job in GP, and I really enjoyed it. And it was rewarding. I really enjoyed the challenges. There were so many different problems, and it wasn't all coughs and colds, which is what I thought it was before, if I'm honest with you. So I decided to apply for general practice, and I've enjoyed it. I've been a GP now for 10 years, and it's been a really good career. Over that 10 years, I've done lots of different things. So not only am I a GP, but actually I have worked in a prison as a GP, and that was a very different place to work. I do minor surgery, so it keeps me hands-on. I get to chop little bumps and moles off and things like that, which is really exciting. I've trained myself. I've been trained in dermoscopy, which is basically a little microscope which allows us to look at skin lesions, and that's been really good. And then I also do a lot of palliative care. I like that aspect of things, the continuity, the ability to help someone die well. I find quite rewarding. On top of that, though, I'm a GP trainer and I teach the medical school students a lot, so I really get that the stimulus and the different challenge of teaching and talking to people through things and all that sort of thing. But one of the things I really love about GP is the continuity. So now I've been a GP here for 10 years. I know the patients well. They know me well. They know they can trust me. They know I'm reliable. They know if I say I'll do something, I'll get it done. And it helps. Actually, it makes my job really rewarding. I know how all the families interact. I know that their mum died 5 years ago and I helped look after them, and I know that they've had a miscarriage before without needing to ask, and they know that I know, and it's all very good. And then it's actually really good medicine. So actually in the last 10 years I've come up with some amazing diagnoses that I've seen and found, and amazed not only the patients but myself with. But it's rewarding. I'm seeing lots of different health problems. It's really interesting, and no 2 days are the same. So I never have 2 days in the surgery where I see the same mix of patients, the same mix of people, the same diagnoses. And it's got a good work-life balance. So over the last 10 years, I've varied my working pattern from 3 days a week to 5 days a week, in order to help look after my 2 boys who are now almost off to school. And it's been really good. Actually, I've managed to have a good career. I'm achieving lots, but actually I've been there for my kids. I can pick them up from school, I can look after them, I can do their bath time, I can read to them, and actually to me that's more important than I ever thought it would be. And actually it allows me to have the best of both worlds, to be honest. What do I contribute as a GP? I guess people trust me. You can make a real difference. So some specialties, it can be really obvious how you save a life, how you make a difference. But in GP, it's probably a little bit more subtle. Sometimes it's really obvious. You see a child with meningitis and you spot it and you send them in quickly. It's obvious you've saved a life. But actually, sometimes you save a life by convincing people to take their blood pressure tablets when they didn't want to stop smoking and prevent that cancer. And it's really rewarding. I feel like I make a difference to the patients' lives. I can support them. And actually I can make a real difference in the community that I'm in. I can change the healthcare system for that community, that cohort of people. And people listen to you. I remember someone just recently came back to me, and I remember about 8 years ago, she'd been diagnosed with lymphoma and she was really struggling with a chemo, and she was ready to give up and say, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't remember having a chat with her, but I clearly did have a chat with her. And she came back and I saw her. She's just got pregnant with her first baby. And she said, you know what, Dr. Adcock, it was what you said that enabled me to get through that chemotherapy. And without that, I wouldn't have been able to get through. And actually, it sort of brought it home to me that we really do help people in different ways. It can be in surgery, but actually the greatest tool of a doctor is talking and communication, and if you do that well, it's great. And interestingly, now I do a lot more at the university, so I do a lot of teaching. I'm one of the main teachers from the clinical side on the foundation year, and I really enjoy it. Actually, it's teaching other students like myself who've come from perhaps disadvantaged backgrounds, but actually have all the skills and ability to be amazing doctors. And now I'm running the admissions as well, so I run the interviews. It helps me help people get into medicine, helps me to select the right people who are going to be my colleagues and looking after me when I'm old and grey. I'm already grey already. And what's my basic bottom line? I think my bottom line is that I really love medicine. I'm going to plug it anyway. I really love Leicester. I think Leicester produces great doctors who care, who communicate well. But equally, I think you should not dismiss GP as a career in medicine. I think it's probably, to me, one of the best careers you could have, one of the best careers in medicine, certainly. And I wouldn't listen to all the press that is often disparaging about doctors and medicine and what we can achieve. But yeah, I hope that's helped. I hope that encourages you a bit. But basically, medicine has got so many different opportunities in it. There's so many ways to help people have a great career, make it really interesting, make a difference. And I've really enjoyed it. So I hope you're enjoying this week and you're learning lots about medicine. But if you're thinking about it, apply to Leicester is the best. Take care.